We thought we would have a difficult time to get somebody to qualify in this category. Body modification is a big step to take, even for $25,000.
It's huge, but we asked Sean Clements of Georgetown to shave his head, and he never even hesitated.
Sean had to shave Humble and Fred into his head, but there was a catch. He had to leave it there for the entire 2 months of the contest. Seemed like a big deal to everybody but him.
We had stylist Joseph of Studio 648 come in and shave Sean's head. Then as a bonus, he added just a hint of color. Again, this didn't seem to faze Sean.
In the end, walking around with our names on his noodle for a few months was something Sean seemed to enjoy. It wouldn't surprise us if he ended up like that permanently.
Not surprising, but definitely creepy.
Brad Whittick had no trouble getting in touch with his female side, although he promised that he wouldn't be peeing sitting down.
After a fairly short time, Brad was looking good in a sort of that woman's got really large hands kind of way. You are starting to pretty right up there, girlfriend. And it was off to work at Sears head office for the day.
That day, we made a call to Brad's office to gauge the reaction of his coworkers to the new girl in town.
In the end, our gal Brad said he learned a lot about being a woman and was happy to get rid of the fake breasts and makeup, although he mentioned he'd be keeping the dress for special occasions.
The next mission was a legitimate, tough mission, not some immature Humble and Fred prank to see a girl's bare ass.
Well, okay, that was part of it. Okay, I mean, but, you know, to have a bare bum in our studio, but more from a research point of view, ladies and gentlemen, and not from some like, hey, look, there's a naked bum in our studio.
And it could have been any body part. Carrie Wickett came into the studio and reached into a bag of body parts, and wouldn't you know it, she pulled out ass.
Pulled out butt, and she had the words, I love Humble and Fred, needled into that area.
Isn't that sweet?
As you'll see. Oh. Wait, let's hear that again.
Oh, good.
As you can tell from Carrie's reaction, she wasn't anticipating the pain or the pleasure that went along with qualifying for $25,000. Well, we have good news. Mission number 4 has been completed. Carrie Wickett, Hey, anyone can reach their hand into a bag and pull out a body part to be pierced for themselves, but it takes a special kind of person to convince their mother that they should do it and that this would be a good idea.
Penny Coleman was that kind of person, and Joan Burton, a lively woman in her 60s, was that kind of mom.
In fact, you know, from the moment that Penny and her mom and her dad came into our studios, we knew we'd picked the right family. Of all the people we met during our really tough contest, this group was not only among the nicest, but also the nuttiest. In fact, Penny's dad uttered what would become one of the most bizarre lines of the entire series.
If you could pick the spot that Joan will be pierced, what would you pick? If you could pick.
Well, it's hard to say. She got up first thing this morning, she fluffed her up, scrubbed her nipples, and she's here.
Oh! Oh! Oh my God!
Joan Burton, Penny Coleman's mom. Let's see. Oh, Joan, that looks great. Yeah. For Joan to see what she looks like, it looks really cool.
I just hope my wife wants to fluff her duff when she's that age.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what that means.
Although, you know what?
Yeah.
It turned out to be a little tougher than Joni bargained for. A little tougher, a little more painful. And yeah, she got her picture on the front page of the Beaten Times, her local newspaper, but it was still pretty embarrassing.
Pretty embarrassing, but you know, you got to admit she was a great mom. She stuck it out for over a month and a half and helped her daughter Penny qualify for $25,000.
Although it could have been worse. It could have been her nipple.
No, I don't think so. I don't know if we have, but I really think we should implement a no granny nipple policy on the Humble and Fred show. What would a Humble and Fred contest be without food? Any longtime listener of our show knows that donuts and sausage have been a sub-theme of our program for over 10 years.
And we don't mind chicken wings either.
We love chicken wings.
Big, fat, juicy chicken wings from Mustang's Texas Grill in Mississauga.
Yeah.
The idea was, could you eat 102 of them?
And we thought no brainer. We thought it'd be easy.
We thought it'd be a piece of cake. But you know what? It was a lot tougher than we thought.
Our first contestant was Jason Ho of Toronto, who soaking wet didn't weigh much more than 102 chicken wings himself. He failed miserably, up-chucking after his 46th wing. He came back to eat 5 more, but he did not qualify for the big prize.
The chicken wing bit was so much fun and we got so much reaction, we thought we'd do it again, inviting half a dozen big mouth barrel guts to give it a crack.
Once again, nobody could manage it. Not the eating champion from the Chin Picnic, not this 400-pound cholesterol king who, like Jason Ho, went into our bathroom and ralphed.
Yes, he
He
did.
did, he ralphed. What's worse, he did it without telling us. I mean, if you're going to throw up during our show, tell us so we can make it part of the bit, you know? How to make the perfect sandwich. This was a source of some conflict on the Humble and Fred show because I maintain you make the perfect sandwich by putting the condiments on the bread first, mustard, mayo, then you put your stuff on it, and then when you
No. I get the bread, and then I put the meat and stuff on, and then the crap on top of that. That's the way you make a sandwich. Come on.
He's still freaking out about this. No, but it's simple. We talked to this guy, Barry.
Well, that was the question when we sent Barry Fraser of Acton to a downtown grocery store.
Right. He was very simple. You had to go into the grocery store, gather up all the ingredients, make a sandwich in the store, and eat it before getting thrown out. We thought Barry would have a tough time. After all, this is wrong, unsanitary, rude.
Mission accomplished. As a matter of fact, the store manager didn't seem to mind at all. He was more annoyed at being called away from his coffee break.
For this next mission, we invited Catherine Lukowicz to the Humble and Fred studios for some fine dining. So what if it was 7 o'clock in the morning? This meal was going to be worth it.
Oh, how about some eel, some octopus, some blood sausage, rattlesnake, chocolate-covered grasshoppers, and then Catherine topped it all off with some sheep testicles.
Catherine gagged on the nuts a little, but in the end, she ate it all and qualified for $25,000. This mission was downright grotesque. Sit in a bathtub full of baked beans for the duration of the Humble and Fred show. 4 hours. Nobody would want to do that, right?
Wrong. Lana Gay, a 19-year-old Ryerson student, jumped at the chance and jumped into the tub. Now, you wouldn't think a woman sitting in a tub full of beans would be arousing, but Lana pulled it off.
Lana hung in there for the whole 4 hours and did it with relative ease. The only discomfort was the temperature of the beans.
My nipples are so cold I can cut glass.
Lana, let you stand up. And we'll, there you go.
Everybody thinks they can do stand-up comedy, but very few have the guts. Our next mission? Go to a Yuck Yucks comedy club and do a 5-minute routine with less than 12 hours notice.
This was legitimately tough. We found a couple of people. The first one was great. Les Dixon. He's a school teacher. And we thought, hey, this guy would have tons of material about being a school teacher. But instead, Les got a little more personal.
So I'm doing my business in the stall, and I didn't even have much reading material there, but anyway, I'm just sitting there. All of a sudden, I look over to my side, and I see a trail of pee heading south out of the stall. Now, my first reaction was, what the f*** is the guy beside me doing? Of course, the second reaction was, it was me. That's my pee. So I checked myself out, and clearly I was the victim of misalignment on the toilet.
Well, obviously, less qualified.
And so did Lisa Peelbox. Lisa was an accountant, and her comedy reflected that. Calculated, prepared, and a bit on the dull side. But quality wasn't the criteria, so Lisa got a shot at $25,000.
It's St. Patrick's Day, 7:15 in the morning, bitterly cold. Look at this man. He's duct taped to a pole in downtown Toronto.
His mission? Remain taped to the pole, wearing an adult-sized diaper while singing Irish folk songs. Jason Trudell, a man married to a pregnant woman, was also wrapped in double-sided tape.
The Lord seems to live and it causes it pain to say, stand up now, I'm gonna make it rain. Hey, brother.
Jason hoped passers-by would stick money to his pathetic form, and eventually he did. He raised like $102 for the Toronto Food Bank, thanks to the nice people, and he accomplished his mission in lightning speed.
And Jason had no need for the diaper.